say anything, one of 3 or 4 people jump all over me and start talking to me about stuff that I don't even know what they're talking about yet. So keep that in their own thread. You're welcome to do that. You're welcome to have those discussions. But when we put the posts up or people put discussions up about a specific question or episode, let's keep the topic contained to that, just for clarity's sake and for the message boards to be more inviting to people who want to have a conversation.
Okay, Thomas on Twitter mentioned that when you interviewed Jim Clemente about the Heyman Lee case, he said concealment of a body tends to indicate a known relationship to the victim. Could that be true in this case?
Yeah, and there's been a little bit of discussion about profiling, and we're going to get into all that later in detail. But yeah, I've interviewed Jim on a couple of our cases, who's, for those of you who don't know him, he's a very world-renowned former FBI behavior analyst or profiler. And yeah, he said that, that when somebody goes to great lengths to conceal a body, typically it indicates a known personal relationship to the offender. Now, that doesn't mean every time. That's just typically that's a reason for that behavior, because it's someone who, if the body is found, people are immediately going to look to them and say, you're a suspect. So it's not like they just need to delay things. They need to completely avoid the body ever being found. They're much better off with this being a long-term missing persons case than having bodies that may point back to them. And there's been more discussed. There was a guy named Fred Walsh on the fan page, made a comparison about this. He said he listened to several of Jim Clemente's Real Crime Profile episodes about this case, where he said that, the body concealment would indicate a known personal relationship. And then in the Meredith Kircher case, which is known to most as the Amanda Knox case, he said in that case, Jim said that this was probably a random attack. And so he had said that there was like flawed logic there. And he said that in the Kircher case that she had a duvet thrown over her and her bedroom door was locked. And so that's the same thing as concealment. So why does that equal a random attacker, but this concealment equals no personal relationship? And he had said there was a little bit of a thread about it on the fan page, a little bit of a thread there where he was talking about that it was contradictory, but it's not. There's a very different things. So in this case, there was a clear attempt at permanent body concealment. It went to great efforts. In fact, many people walked right by the 3 boys in this case and didn't notice them. They almost got away with it. They almost weren't found. Now, in the Meredith Kircher case is a very different scenario. She was brutally killed, raped, throat slashed, blood everywhere. And there was, a little duvet, whatever duvet is, was thrown over the top of her. And her bedroom door was locked. She had roommates. Clearly, this was not an attempt at permanent concealment. This is what we would call an attempt at delayed concealment, or trying to delay discovery. And it does tell you something different about the offender. What that tells you is that someone that feels that if they can just have time to get away before the body was found, then they would be safe. That's why Jim Clemente said that was likely a random attacker. Because, if that was like the boyfriend of this girl, of course they're going to look at him. But if some random person comes in, rapes her, and kills her, and makes this huge bloody mess, just by locking the door, you figure, do you think about it? A roommate comes home, you come home to your house, and your roommate's door shut and locked. You knock, they're not answering, it's locked. And like, all right, well, they're sleeping. And you're going to leave them alone, at least for a while, before you decide to kick the door in, which is exactly what happened here. And that is an attempt that gives someone time to create distance between them and the crime scene. That is very different, not even close to the attempt at permanent concealment we see in this case. So, I don't want to get too deeply into profiling. We'll get into all of that later. Some people think it's great. Some people hate it. That's fine. That's a discussion for another day. But I did want to point out with those couple of posts we've had regarding the profile, and Jim Clemente specifically, that Jim Clemente did not contradict himself between the two. Those two crime scenes were nothing alike.
And then last, Bob, you promised the listeners that you would give your theory on the Bojangles man. So what do you think all this is about? What do you think happened?
It's just a theory or a hypothesis, but in my opinion, when we gather all the evidence, I certainly don't think that our window of opportunity is going to allow for Bojangles man to be involved in the murders. Now we have cut down the time of travel from the crime scene to the Bojangles to less than 15 minutes. It's impossible. And then making that trek without being completely soaked with water, also impossible. The way he was acting, especially the defecating on himself and slurring his speech and bleeding, in my opinion, this is, I think Zach Weaver, who sent that email, and it's a fun fact, also is my tattoo artist, Zach Weaver.
Yeah, he's supposed to do a sleeve on you soon, isn't he?
Yeah. Zach had mentioned there was a serious crack epidemic. And this type of behavior, if you've never seen someone that was on crack, is pretty typical. I've had the unfortunate experience, again, with 16 years in the fire service, of coming across some people that were high on crack, and it's slurring. I've seen drooling, just really, really odd behavior. The defecating in the pants, I've seen that from crack addicts. Also, there's a liquor store not far from the crime scene. And then also we have the blood. There's no blood trail leading into the restaurant, just blood in the restaurant. So I think what you got here is a dude that's either real drunk or high on crack or both, that had to go to the bathroom and just stumbled into the closest place he could find. And Mike, you remember when we were there on the south side of that parking lot, which was between the open field. There's an open field there and then the liquor store. There's another ditch right there. Not nearly as deep. It's a small little drainage ditch, but it's a real good place to get your feet muddy and possibly trip and cut yourself. I think that likely, given the fact there's no blood trail leading into the restaurant, I think that you got a drunk or high guy that had to go to the bathroom and stumbled his way in there and probably cut his arm real close to the restaurant, if not cut it in there. Maybe he fell on his way to the restroom or when he's trying to sit down or whatever. Clearly he's disoriented, goes into the wrong bathroom, and then he just wanders out of there. But I think everything, and this is my opinion, it's a hypothesis, but in my opinion, when you factor all of the evidence in, the timeline, the amount of water that would have been on him, the blood, the fact that he would have had to commit these crimes with one arm in a cast, I think that the Bojangles man is just one of the great big red herrings in this case. And you just got a guy that's having a bad day and happened to stumble into a restaurant that was a mile away from a horrible crime scene.
Okay, that's going to do it for today's follow-up. Thank you, everybody, for engaging and sending in your thoughts and your theories.
And make sure you tune in this Sunday, 2 days from today, for episode 505, where we're going to be addressing yet another one of the early leads for the West Memphis Police Department in the search for the killers of the forgotten West Memphis 3. Truth and Justice is a production of NBI Studios. Mike Bussing is our executive producer. All music for the show was created by PutThemInASong.com. I want to thank Amanda Meyer for creating our Friday follow-up logo. Thank you to our transcription team, Sarah Mueller, Anna Dindorf, Stephanie McConnell, and Britta Bliss. And also thank you to Chris Brinkley for all the work he's done in the past on our website. And a big thank you to Katie Ross, who has taken over that task, and it is a big task, in creating and then going forward managing and maintaining our website, truthandjusticepod.com. Thank you, Katie. And as always, thank you to all of you for all your engagement and support. I mean, we have had a ton of content in these Friday follow-up episodes. Lots of engagement, lots of questions, lots of comments. Thank you all for all of your support. And let's all keep putting our heads together and let's try to reach out and find the people that know something about this case. You can send us emails to theories@truthandjusticepod.com. You can send us voicemails to 269-224-2833. You can like our Facebook page. You can get in the conversation in the Truth and Justice Podcast fans page. Or you can follow us on Twitter @TruthJusticePod. However you do it, stay engaged, stay in touch. But as for now, we're signing off. I'm Bob Ruff.
And I'm Mike Bussing.
And this has been Truth and Justice.
that the new iPhone?
Yeah, got it on T-Mobile. Fastest iPhone deserves America's fastest LTE network.
Introducing the amazing iPhone 8. It's the best iPhone yet, now on America's best unlimited network. For a limited time, save up to $300 on the amazing iPhone 8 after 24 monthly bill credits. And now join T-Mobile's iPhone upgrade program for free.
Eligible trade-in and finance agreement required. If you cancel service, you may lose promo credits. Contact us for details. Video at 480p. Small fraction of users over 50 gigs per month may have reduced speed. See store for details.